Hey y'all. Hey. Welcome back to the Growing and Flowing podcast. If you're new here, my name is Brandy. Feel free to call me Bran. I love when people call me Bran. So real quick before we get into it might not be real quick. Y'all know what I do. So I did post a giveaway on my Lord on my Instagram for this page. So I will leave that post link down below. When you listen to this, it's gonna be running until Thursday of this week. So this is gonna drop Wednesday. Typically I would say the date, y'all, but my calendar I can't see it because of the lighting right now. I'm sorry. And I might extend it for like a day, and then I will be announcing the winner next week on my Instagram page. So real slight giveaway, but if you're interested, definitely check it out. Now I got a question for y'all. Y'all believe in aliens? Seriously. I wish I could do a question thing on Apple because that's where everybody listens at. But I'll leave it on Spotify. I think it lets me do a poll, or it might just do a question. But if you listen on Spotify, answer that for me because I'm curious. I personally do. Why isn't there other life forms? Who said we the only type of creatures that can walk the way that we do? Like, I don't know. And y'all know that the shit that the government been shooting down, like all this month, like it's been like 4 different things they have shot down. Look, it's giving the aliens trying to make their way to Earth, and I personally feel like they will love me, so I'm with it. I don't think they would try to kill us or nothing. Or I could be wrong. I don't know. Just a lot of strange things going on. But also, well, I don't believe anything the government says. Of course, they say that they don't think it was UFOs. Fuck out of here. Whatever. I don't know. I was talking to my neighbor yesterday, and I mean, I feel like they're trying to distract us from something. I don't know, yo. It just seemed like shit getting real, and I don't know all the details of like everything, but like it's just been a lot of conversations with quote unquote allegedly China watching us. I don't know. I'm like, yo, are we about to have a war? I I'm not trying to be dramatic. Like, I don't know. I feel like something is definitely gonna happen because a lot of strange things just been happening since COVID, and even with COVID for the longest. Um, I don't know. Again, I don't trust the CDC either. And honestly, I think a lot of times with a lot of this COVID shit, they just didn't know because then y'all know it came out with the vaccine saying that they did not fight anything, which I 100% believe because for real, that first time I had COVID, I just don't feel like I should have felt it the way that I did because I had boosters, and I really do have a good immune system. So that was just strange to me. So that's why like I'm not getting any more of these boosters. If they come out with something new, fuck that. Unless it's a requirement, and it depends on what I'm trying to do for whatever is required. Because it's like maybe I don't need to do that because it's required. I don't know. Strange stuff, man. Strange fucking times we're living in. But okay. Let's get into the topic. Let's get into the topic of saying sorry, apologizing, etc. So, what I've learned with this situation, which just happened some days ago. Look at I just be getting content for the pod. Um, I used to have a very hard time saying sorry because I just feel like saying sorry is very hard. It is hard to be like, yo, I was wrong, and telling somebody else if they were right in a scenario or a conversation. I think that's hard. And just literally knowing that you were wrong and like saying that to the other person, I think that's very hard. So as a kid, I remember I used to say sorry all the time. I didn't mean that shit. I mean, I was a kid. It makes sense, right? But that was before my mom started beating me. Like I used to feel like that. Then when my mom started beating me, I didn't want to stop doing the things that I was getting beaten for. I was just like thinking, all right, like how can I not get caught again? But yeah, I used to say sorry as a kid. My mom was like, "You're not sorry because you did it again." Because sometimes my mom would give me chances. Like she would let shit rock a few times and be like, "Nah, like I done told you. Now lay across the bed." Um, Honestly, I think I needed to get beat. I think it did help me. Um, Honestly, I was a bad kid, y'all. I was real bad. But yeah, and yeah, I just remember as a kid her saying you don't mean it. So then going into like what, like 12, 13, into the teenage stage, then I got to a point where like, all right, it's easy for me not to get caught with things. So, but as a kid, and in those years, I used to lie about like certain shit. And I don't think I ever meant anything by it, but I think it was kind of consistent when it came to my mom because as only child, like I got blamed for like everything that went wrong in the house, like every single thing. And I'm like, all right, yo, some of this stuff don't make sense. Like when our big TV went out, like in the living room, like one of the old TVs, like the TVs that used to sit on the ground, y'all, with the butt. I remember when that shit went out and it was a snowstorm outside. And I'm pretty sure maybe that has something to do with it. If that don't make sense, I don't know. It was old. So it was gonna croak. And then I got blamed for that. And that just blew me. When the washing machine broke, I got blamed for that. I'm like, okay. But mind you, my mom has been in her house since it was already 10 years old before she moved in. So, like, it's an old house. So, you know, you got to a point where, and still at this point for real, where things need to be replaced. So, when I used to get blamed for stuff, I was just like, all right, yo, like, okay, I got to take this on the chin. So, like, why tell the truth about some other thing, like, that I know I can't get caught in if I'm already taking the L for this other stuff that I can't help. So, and also, dang, it's so crazy. I just came to the realization. My mom really used to put her anger on me because shit went wrong. And I think honestly, internally, it was like a yo, not another thing. Because I kind of see that now as an adult, as some things have went wrong. Like one thing in the kitchen, we've got fixed 3 times, and it's just went back to it's something in the kitchen that leaks. Like so, it's something in the roof. And the last time, like we just knew that solved it because it was good for some months, and it started doing it again. And now thinking about that, I just think she was very frustrated with she was providing for me, doing the things that she had to do. She was doing it all by herself. And then shit was going wrong, and it was just easy to blame me. So I get that. I get that. Of course, I don't support it, but now I see exactly what that is. And, like, I think I have definitely done that, like, projecting as an adult before. Damn. Life crazy. But anyways, so, yeah. So then, you get into a little bit into adulthood, undergrad, and all that other stuff. Yeah, just saying sorry for a long time was just very hard. And I told you about me and like one of my first friends not being friends anymore. Like me, when I did say something to him to apologize, it was a year later. And I've said something before, I had to eat that. Like I know that was some ego shit. Like I feel like, of course, if I wanted to say something earlier, I would have. But also, I understand why that scenario went that way because I found out that shit just wasn't reciprocated. So that's fine. But I think with that, it really it helped me understand the importance of apologizing because I think, I've apologized before in life and I meant it. And I think my intent was to be intentional, but I wasn't really changing some of the shit that I apologized for. So then it's just like, all right, that leads to disappointment in the other person. So I think that makes me really appreciate when somebody can really apologize to me and they really mean it. And I can tell that. And I think that honestly, that is the first thing to earn my loyalty. Because another thing that I appreciate is with guys that I've ever talked to, which is not too many that have told me the truth, but it's fine. When some females be like, "Don't lie to me. I want to know the truth," and then they know the truth, and then they just get mad or spiral and shit go left. Da, da, da. For me, I've never been that type in that regard. Like, I want you to tell me the truth, and also it's nice if I don't have to say that, and you are just straight up with me. I've had one person in life that I've dealt with that has always done that with me, and I've always respected that. Because at the end of the day, if it's a truth, then I'm like, let me make my decision, if I want to carry on after that. Or just depending on what it is. I don't know. I just appreciate people being 100% with me from the jump versus me finding out and then later, like, you apologize for some shit because I found out. I don't know. It's kind of not the same thing. If there was ill intent there. You know what I'm saying? So, this scenario happened over the weekend. So, me and my friend, we're out. Her and her brother and her brother's friend went to a bar or whatever. A few bars, actually. So, then we met up with another friend later. So, by the time they came out, it was where we were at. They were about to close. So, I'm like, do you want us to come back to your apartment or do you want to come over to our place or whatever and kick it in so-and-so apartment? And they seemed like they wanted to go home, like, by themselves. So, like, I don't want to always put that on people. I don't want to assume that. So I say, okay, so do you want to go home alone, or do you want us to come with you, or do you just want to come back to so-and-so crib? And because we all have choices, right? Make your choice. I don't know why. Well, okay, I used to struggle with this. I don't know. I'm big. I done told you, I'm very firm on saying no these days if I'm not fucking with something, or like if I don't feel like it. But now that I'm able to do that, I can see when other people have a hard time saying no to something. So I asked them that because, like, yo, like, let us know. We don't have to chill, because if we go to so and so spot, like, more people are gonna come over, and we just gonna be doing whatever, like talking, watching TV, whatever that entails. And they were like, no, 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 no. Y'all can come over, but I do want to go to the crib. All right, but so in the midst of that, like, I was just fucking with them. Literally, I looked at them like, well, y'all can't see me, but I made a face, and they were like, what? Why are you coming at me? Da, da, da. And I was like, nothing. I'm just playing. So then, get an Uber, because it's not really far, but it wasn't giving walk though, for sure. Uber ride was like 2-3 minutes. I'm like, all right, let's do that. So we went to their apartment and whatnot. I forgot what we were doing. Oh, so me and my friend, we're very chaotic. Like, we just like fucking with people. But it's like, I thought the tone was set for me to be able to do that with this other person. Mind you, I haven't known them that long, like maybe like 6 months. So I'm still trying to feel out like what's okay, what's not. I don't want to do too much, but then also if you give me the roadway to like communicate with you in a certain way, I'm like, okay, cool. I thought you set the tone for that. It's cool if I do this in this certain way. Whatever. I'm just learning how to, I guess, just have a friendship with people. But when you get to know people, it's weird, because this is my first time in life, I would say, getting to know other people, like people that I consider friends. So for me, it's just different because it's new. Learning somebody is new. I've only done that like within these last few years with somebody I wanted to deal with romantically, right? Or I was dealing with. But it's just different. I mean, that person already had a friendship, so it was a little easier, So I never want to overstep or anything like that. So me and her, we just in his little snacky closet or whatever, playing around, and I was like, oh, I want this, da da da. And then they were like, no, why are you taking so and so? Like, no, da da da. I'm like, okay, like, you've given us stuff before, and it's your stuff. So I'm like, I'm not tripping. I'm like, okay, I will put it back. It's fine. And I don't know, the vibe just got weird. Like, he seemed like, cause yes, male. He seemed like he was just very irritable already. Also, first time in a long time that, like, I consider another male a friend. Like, I've used discernment, and I feel like it's nothing more than that. So it's like, okay, I don't really know, cool with a male. So I'm like, I don't really know what that dynamic is like as of right now, because in this part of adulthood, I just haven't tried to do that with anybody of that nature, because every time I've had, they've just had, they've had these, they've liked me a little bit, and I'm not, we're not doing that. Like, so I had to think like, okay, did I do something wrong? But also, I didn't think I did, because like, right, y'all heard the scenario, it sounds very slight. But I just think that it was because he was just irritated about a lot of stuff. And I don't know if that's throughout that day, like the type of day he had, or throughout the week. I forgot what he said to us. He was just like, no. I think he mentioned that in the car or whatever. Like, I don't know. He just had like this irritable attitude. And I was like, okay, whoa. Like, me and my friend looked at each other like, whoa, okay, because we weren't even doing nothing excessive. So they still wanted to come over back to my friend's crib or whatever, surprisingly, even though he was in that mood. I didn't understand that. So at this point, because you're irritated. I'm not talking to you for the rest of the night. And that's nothing. It's just like, I'm not about to be in my head about why you feel some type of way. And the thing is, my head had started to do that when we were heading back to her place. But I was just like, I had to think about, like, and I thought about it the next day. I had to think of, like, was I wrong? Because in the scenario, it just maybe felt like I was playing too much. But, like, I don't know. So he ended up driving back to my friend's crib, and so all of us are in the car. And he ended up bringing up what he was mad about. So we have a group message. In the group message, I just remember we were a little drunk. But she told me to ask him a question. And he ended up answering. And then I forgot what I said out of that. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're good. I was just bullying you a little bit. And he brought that up in the car. He was like, you know, like in the text, you were saying that you were bullying me. And then when I came up, we were outside, you came at me. And I was like, yo. I looked at him and I said, I literally had no thoughts in my mind when I did any of that. That was literally not my intent. I would never try to intentionally make you feel some type of way, especially when you just got here. I was literally just fucking with you. And I said, my bad, though, if it came off like that. And I don't know if I slightly said that sarcastically, because that I just couldn't understand. I just couldn't. I just couldn't understand. He was like, okay. So when we got back to my friend's crib, like, few other people, no, her brother ended up coming. That was it. And it was slightly awkward. I'm glad her brother ended up coming because, like, I was about to go home. I live next door. And yeah, and it was like we were all having a conversation like together, but like when he was, I just wouldn't look at him because like I just think that's weird. I don't really know what's going on here. So next day, like I just think about it. I'm like, yo, because I like to break down stuff. Now, really, I'm like, yo, do I feel like I was wrong? Because if I do, like, I should definitely apologize. So oddly enough, yo, I was asleep all day that day. I didn't get into like 3 a.m. and like I just hadn't had sleep like the days prior to. So like I needed to just sleep. And I ended up just seeing on my phone. They ended up texting me and they were like, hey, I sincerely apologize for X, Y, and Z. And they were saying like a little bit of what was going on with them. And it's crazy because now that I've really been zeroing in on projecting and like preventing that, I can see when other people are projecting. And that's exactly what he was doing. But also too, it's like I don't want to just assume that and be like, yo, you're projecting. And also too, when you're in the moment, like it's not the time to talk about that. Like it's not. It's really not. And I'm not trying to ruin my night. I'm not trying to ruin your night, make it worse than whatever you're going through. But yeah, very detailed message. We went back and forth for a few times and I told him that, you know, it's cool, all good. Things happen. And I really appreciate you for apologizing. Because it seemed very thoughtful, very meaningful. I do think it needs to be a conversation in person. Probably with all three of us. Because even if you had an issue with, quote unquote, what I allegedly did, don't take that off on other people. Like, while we're chilling. Like, I don't know. If you're not feeling it, go home. And I'm saying that to me as well. Like, I know if I ain't feeling something, like, I'm just not going to go out. Like, if I feel like I can't genuinely go out and put that shit aside, I'm not going to. Because sometimes, like, when some shit has happened, like, you're not going to instantly feel better. Sometimes ain't shit going to make you feel better. Sometimes you really just got to sit in that shit. I don't ever want to put that energy on other people, and I want them to understand as well, like, hey, it's literally okay not to come. It's literally okay to say no. It's okay not to chill with us. Like, stop feeling, I don't want people to ever feel obligated, ever, with me or with anybody else in life. You are not obligated to fucking hang with somebody, okay? Period. So yeah, that was very interesting. Because I haven't had somebody apologizing to me in a very long time, which I feel like is a good thing, for sure. I definitely feel like it's a good thing. But I don't know, I think it's cool where like he had that self-reflection and apologized. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I appreciate a good apology, y'all. Yeah. We should all be out here saying sorry when we're wrong. Because sometimes we be wrong. We be wrong. We definitely be wrong. But y'all, that is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. So again, if you guys can leave me a rating, that would be cool. That helps me with discovery, y'all. It really does. And yeah, more episodes coming. I'm excited for the pod for this year. I'm not going to hold y'all though. This year, I don't know. January came in strong. February, me just having COVID in the beginning of February. Like, I don't know. It's been kind of hard for me to deep dive into the creative shit like I thought I was going to be able to. and I'm about to go back to get my certification. So getting back in that mode, that's gonna take me away from this a little bit. Not like a whole like I'm my energy level. Still working on balance. And yeah, because too much of anything is just not good. And y'all, okay, I was about to head out, but y'all see I haven't headed out. And the other day when I was asleep all day, I was like, what's all these text messages? And I'm like, who am I? And I was just like, oh, I was like, oh, I'm slightly sort of getting a life, or I have a life. And that's not even just about me going out and the people that I've met here. Just some people that, that our friendship is just blossoming. We just talking a little more. And I think that's cool that, people that aren't here. So I'm like, oh. So yeah, balance, 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 balance. That is my word all this year. Creating that balance in my life so I can just feel at ease, sane, and not pressured to do all the things that I do decide to put on my plate. So y'all, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.